Okay, this is my walk away. I wasn't sure if I was going to do a walk away video because of the fact I walked away 20-something odd years ago. But I decided I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway. This is my walk away. I realized, I mean, it was a transition. I guess maybe I'd call it a slow transition. I was a Reagan Democrat. He was the first president. I was 18 years old, first president to vote for. I've always been a hardcore patriot. So I voted for Reagan. And actually, after Reagan, I didn't vote for anybody else. I was like, that's it, because I didn't like any of them. Bush Sr., Clinton, I didn't vote for after Reagan. I didn't vote for Bush Sr. or Clinton. I didn't vote at all until Bush 43. George W. Bush, until George W. Bush. So I voted for George W. After his terms were up. I was not a fan of O'Bumbler at all. Didn't like him. I could see right through him. And then, of course, I was not a fan of McCain. Palin, she's got a lot of good ideas as far as I'm concerned, but she's like really not my kind of person either. She seems kind of like flaky, but I voted for McCain anyway. That wasn't a good time because of who won. Then, of course, what comes in after that is Mr. Stiffy. What's his face? Mr. Stiffy. Well, you know who that is. I can't think of him right now. Maybe it'll come to me. But so I voted for him instead of O'Bumbler. Second term, I no way I was going to vote for him. Mitt Romney. So I vote for Romney. Not that I wanted to do that either. You know, my wife talked me into that one because after McCain, I didn't like voting for McCain. After that, I was like, I'm not voting for this guy either. Forget it. But my wife talked me into it. She says it's to keep him out. Obama. So I voted for Romney. And that was it. After that, I told her, I said, you know what? I says, I'm not doing this anymore because, you know, it's not. To keep somebody out, you vote for somebody that's lousy too, you know. I mean, maybe not as lousy as O'Bumbler, but I think they were all in bed together. That's my opinion. So then, they got all these guys up there. I mean, Huckabee I liked. I was actually looking more towards, I went for Ben Carson first, and then comes the guy out of Wisconsin. Again, my mind doesn't work as well as it used to, but believe it or not, I mean, I'm shy of 60 years old, but so I was like, okay, he might be good, and I saw both of their speeches. I thought that Carson was kind of like, I don't know, he's smart, I liked him, but it wasn't hitting me. And then the guy out of Wisconsin, he had a lot of drive. So because I worked the second shift, I don't look at the computer all day. I don't have a cell phone, so the following morning I get up and I see headlines. Donald Trump announces, I never watched The Apprentice. Never. So I see Donald Trump announces run for presidency. My first reaction is like, oh, come on. So my wife, she gets up and she sits behind me. I'm at the computer. She has a recliner behind me. At the time it was behind me, now it's off to the side, but that's another thing. But I'm watching him come down the escalator. He gets to talking, and I turn to my wife, and we either said it at the same time, or she said it before the words come out of my mouth, that's going to be our next president. I think I said he's definitely going to be the next president. She said 2 terms. And I said, yeah. So I was solid with him. Right from the get-go. Right from the escalator, I was solid with Trump. I knew our country was going in a very bad direction. Hitler would have been just another term of Obama. Bumbler. And so the rest was history. But I walked away a long time ago because I've been using the name that was given by a talk show host that I didn't watch him, but my brother did, and this guy called them commie-crats. And he also coined the term Clinton News Network for CNN. I liked that name because, yes, they are communists, as far as I'm concerned. My father, he's from Europe, from Poland. He was born here, and at the age of 5, they brought him back. His parents were on a work visa. So he was not an anchor baby. So he was born here, an American citizen. They brought him back. Later on, he told me if he had a choice, he would have told them no, but he had no choice. He dug trenches for the German army, and then after they were kicked out, he ended up putting up with the communists. And when he wrote to the embassy that he wanted to come to America at the age of, I believe he was 25, somewhere around there, the communists tried not to let him come here. And he wasn't sure if this was the reason, but I pegged it because he said they threw him in jail on a trumped up charge of strong armed robbery with a pistol. They said he had a pistol with two buddies. They grabbed two buddies of his and they tortured my father. And he never agreed to sign the confession. I don't remember how long he said he was tortured, but he never agreed to sign it. I believe they did that because they wanted to give him that record so that he would not be allowed to come to the U.S. Now, when I brought it to his attention, the look on his face, he was blown away, and he was like, all these years I never thought of that, but I believe you might be right. You know, I mean, we're not sure, but it seemed like that. And then sometime after that, he got the papers brought to him directly by the chief of police that he's going to America. He's coming to America. And my father held no grudge against this garbage, this commie chief of police. So he pulled out, of course, a bottle of vodka, and he said, well, let's celebrate. And just before they drank, the guy told him that, he says, you know what? He says, congratulations, and I wish I was in your shoes. So here the guy was only doing, like the old line is that the Nazis use, I'm following orders. So he followed orders by whoever to do that to my father, I believe, with the trumped up charge. And but anyway, I was raised with a father who went through hell with communists and socialists, and I've always been a hardcore patriot. In my younger days, I tried to buy American, but I wasn't making enough, as much as I might hate to say that. American-made stuff was way too expensive, and to be honest, there was just way too much foreign goods coming in. So I just followed behind the usual suspects. And but I've always been a hardcore patriot, and I saw the same in Trump. I mean, this country let him be what he strived to be. Me, I've just always been a working stiff, and I was just glad to be able to have a job in this country. I never held, I mean, in my younger days, because like I said, it was a transition, I did blame the rich for all of my shortcomings. I hated school. I graduated with low marks, but I hated school, so I never went forward with that. I did a course in motorcycle mechanics with DD. I didn't do nothing with that. I didn't follow through with anything. Later on in life, in my 40s, I took some locksmithing courses. I tried that out. It wasn't for me, you know, working for somebody in the locksmithing business. So I stuck with factory work, shop work, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, but this is what I gotta say, you know, and I'm glad that the walkaway campaign was started by Strucka, and again, I don't remember his first name, but you know, it was mind-blowing to me, and I was like, yeah, I mean, we're gaining somewhere. Things are happening, and you know, we're gonna beat this. We're gonna win. Trump's going to win the second term. 2020 is ours. I mean, because I consider myself a Republican. I never felt right considering myself a conservative. The Republicans, I wasn't crazy about them either, because too many of them seem too shady. Boehner, and then Ryan, McConnell, as far as I'm concerned. We have to get those kind out and get true patriots in. I never felt like I was a conservative. I looked at myself a conservative, but I didn't feel right saying it, because the way the conservatives talk about themselves, I'm agnostic. Conservatives would say I couldn't be a conservative because I'm agnostic. I don't believe there's a God. You know, I mean, if for those of you who don't know what agnostic is, I need proof. You know, in the beginning I said I was an atheist, but that's because I didn't know about agnosticism. And somewhere in my mid-20s or something, I was like, agnostic. So I looked it up. I was like, oh, well, that's me. Because I always wanted proof, solid proof. I still don't believe I got solid proof. And I do not denounce anyone who has that belief. This country was built on Christianity. So be it. Me as an agnostic, I look at it, that's traditional. In God we trust. Okay, more power to you. I'll go along with it. Whatever the creator is, you know, in creator I trust, you know, whatever, you know. But Trump's the guy, and I'm hoping Eric Trump is the next one to run, because he's on fire. And you know, if it's not Eric, it could be Donald Jr. But Eric is rock and roll as far as I'm concerned. Not to put down Donald Jr. Donald Jr. is something else too. He started out a little slow, a little rough around the edges, and Eric came out just like, wow, you know. So I'm rooting for Eric, but Donald Jr. is still my kind of guy. And yeah, walk away, and walk away hard, you know, walk away fast. I would suggest that to anybody, you know. The useful idiots can stay useful idiots. Those are the ones, they don't have faith in themselves. They don't have the patriotic dignity, the patriotic self-respect. You know, I mean, they're also referred to on the as NPCs. Useful idiots are NPCs because they only repeat what they're programmed to repeat. They don't think for themselves. NPC, non-playable character. I believe that's what it is. I looked it up. I don't remember for sure, but I think that's what it is. It's from the gamers, and I believe 4chan started it, and they just parrot what they hear on fake news or from their commie politicians. And we think for ourselves. I mean, they parrot something that some communist said, either a first in line useful idiot, which is fake news, or from their commie patriot, or their commie politicians at the top. They parrot something about the Constitution that's totally not true, because they're too stupid to figure this out. Don't just read the wording of the Second Amendment. Read the Federalist Papers, which coincide with the Constitution. Hamilton 26 of the Federalist Papers, he explains exactly what the Second Amendment means. He states that it would be difficult to train every citizen to be a militia. So therefore, every citizen will bear arms, and when that time in need arises, they will use those arms to protect the country. And it's also to protect themselves against a threat, a smaller threat to a larger threat like our government, or a threat of an invader. The English were once their government, the Founding Fathers' government. They rose up against them. And so, therefore, for the useful idiots to think that, oh yeah, you think that our government's going to try to do something else, and they're too moronic to really understand anything. To me, they're a useful idiot, just like their commie politicians in office, or even their upper useful idiots, aka the fake news. They're going to believe them, and they don't want to learn anything. I believe it's the low self-esteem. They act as though they're normal, but they have low self-esteem, and the way their mind works is they want to stay ignorant, or, for a stronger word, which I use often, they want to stay stupid. And, you know, luckily there's a very small percentage of them, because we do have many Trump Democrats. Well, the walk-away movement is for Democrats to walk away. I mean, if you have to register and you register Republican, that's fine, which is what Diamond and Silk has done. And love them gals, but they did it, and I mean it's not really necessary. I'm in Illinois, so we don't have to register, but when we go to vote, they do ask what party, which is kind of like ridiculous. I do like what's going on right now with Barr, because I could tell, I believe that they are terrified. The left are terrified. The Democrats are terrified. They know that their days are numbered. We don't know whose names are going to pop up. They are so terrified. I have a feeling a large percentage, maybe more than half of their names, will be found out to be involved with all this, what has gone on with Trump, the collusion, delusion. You know, it's really amazing to see this going on in this country, but as it is supposed to be, because it always has been, every war that this country fought patriotism has won. Truth has won. And it's winning again. And I'll go as far as to say it's as though there is a hand that is guiding us to make the right moves. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing people getting called out, and by right they should serve prison time. Hitlery, Obama, Biden, Lynch, and on and on and on. It's a great time to be in America, to be an American citizen. It's a great time because we got the right guy in there to be our voice, to push back, and man, he is definitely what this country needed. He's the shot in the arm. And yeah, this is a great time. I'm thankful for the walk-away movement. I'm thankful for people like Candace Owen. For the Turning Point movement. I believe that they're gaining. They're changing minds. And I again, the guy who started Turning Point, I believe his last name is Kirk. Like I said, my memory is not that good, and you know, I'm driving and so on and so forth. But yeah, it's grassroots, baby, all the way, grassroots. I'm glad to be part of this movement. I'm glad to see, because I often wonder how many true patriots from the heart are there. And there's a lot more of us than what I ever imagined. Because my fear was that maybe there's more communists, even though Trump won, maybe there's more communists deep to topple this government. Because let's face it, this was a coup, and there's more of us than there are of them. And by the words of a great admiral, even though he was on the opposing side, he was a great admiral Yamamoto, and he said, we have awoken the sleeping giant. If they mess with us and go too far, we are a sleeping giant, people. They tried pulling that garbage, the useful idiots behind the cameras, in front of the cameras. They were claiming that the walk-away movement was Russian bots. Their delusion is so out there. And then the march, the walk-away march happened. And they didn't televise it. They didn't have to. Enough of people saw it. Anybody with a lick of sense would go on YouTube and you could learn a whole lot of reality. Unicorns are not real. For any useful idiots that are watching this and you want to change from useful idiot to true self-thinking, true patriot, unicorns aren't real. There is no perfect world, and socialism sure ain't going to get you to perfection. I'm rambling on. I'm just, the things that have been on my mind that I drive my wife crazy with. It's all coming to the forefront now. But, yeah, your life is what you make of it. I'm almost 60 years old. I never had a true career. I was with a company for the most part over 20 years. The son took over and he was a moron. There were two sons and unfortunately one died of cancer. He was younger. I'd still be there, and he wanted to expand the company, but of course, life happens in the worst ways sometimes, and it did for him. So the other guy, the company was going downhill, and he sold it to a competitor, and it went from 22 guys down to 8, and out of the 8, only 4 of them went to the new owner's place, because he sold the company and then he sold the building separate. So everything went out of that building into his own building, and he sort of kept the name. He kept the name but added LLC because by law you have to. Before he bought it, it was Inc. So, but anyway, yeah, but I mean, then from there I went to another job, and then I lost that job due to the economy because Obama was so great as a president, and I was out of work for over a year and a half, trying not to go to a job service center, but then it got to the point where I better move, and I did And in 4 months with working at the job service center, they were not hiring any full-timers. So, in 4 months of being there, I found a job, and I've been there for almost 9 years. And, you know, it's a decent place. I don't hold grudges against the wealthy. We have people that have worked there and probably still do, but I know for sure used to. These people, they hated the guy that owns the company. You have a job. If you don't like him because he's rich, because he has a company, and he's a son that took over. His father worked for a company. When he retired, he bought this place. It was small, and it was on its last leg, and he brought it to life. That's what America's about. That's what capitalism is. So this guy, the son, moves in on it, and he turned it into a powerhouse. And now, under Trump, and at our quarterly meeting, he explained, because he bought a building that's right next door, because he's expanding like unbelievable. And he said, due to Trump's tax cuts, I was able to purchase that building. That just makes it better for me and anybody else working there. So, you know, I mean, why wouldn't I walk away? I used to be like that. I used to hate the rich, but I had to reorganize what was in my skull. You know, I think part of the reason too, I was a drunk for some years. And then I cleaned up my act. I mean, I was always a patriot. But I looked at things in too much like a useful idiot. And, you know, in a way, I was partially that, because, you know, a useful idiot thinks they're patriotic, but they're not. I mean, that's only because of their stupidity. I was a patriot, but I hated the wealthy. I blamed the wealthy for everything going on in the world, including what's going on with my life. And then when I got sober, I quit doing the drinking, doing the drugs, and I took a real good look at myself. It's not them, it's me. So now, I mean, I'm not real happy about where I work, but I'm paying my bills, I'm taking care of business. With the tax cuts, it's helped me quite a bit. It helped me because they have more money to build the company, and anybody with a lick of sense knows when a company is serious about growth, a large percentage of what they have coming in goes towards the company. Yes, he will always be the top dog, making the most. I mean, if he sold the company today, the money goes to him, not to me, not even a portion, not even 1/10. So, you know, I mean, capitalism is great. Nationalism is great. I'm an American nationalist. I'm a true patriot. I'm for the country. Build the wall. we wanted the wall built. I was a young punk, and again, this goes back to that. I was a Democrat. I had crazy thoughts, but when I voted for Reagan, part of the thing was building a wall. Then it just disappeared, and that was it. And then the liars came in and lied about it. Clinton mentioned we should build a wall. O'Bumbler, as a senator, spoke of a wall. But that's the way they do it. The carrot in front of the useful idiot knows. The carrot's the donkey. The useful idiot is the donkey, the jackass. Because all the useful idiots are jackasses, NPCs. I'm the real deal. The rest of my brothers and sisters are the real deal. The Candace Owens out there, the Diamond and Silks, the Trumps, you know, this is it. We can drive our destination. Yes, if we have a moron in office like we did for the last 8 years, like the last administration, 8 years of total failure. Yes, it's harder for people to make something of themselves because a scum like that wants people to not get anywhere. That's part of the agenda. Net neutrality, that would have screwed all of us who are putting these videos out there. They would have put the clamps on us. They wanted to crush us. So I just went on and on, named a few things, more than a few things, about why we need to do this. It's better to be a true patriot, a nationalist, part of the walk away, part of the grassroots, part of the intelligent crowd. Part of the ones who think for themselves. I like when the useful idiots in front of a camera, the fake news morons, how they say the people are just following what Rush Limbaugh says. The people are just following what Hannity says. They're too stupid to realize, and maybe they're not. They're just out there following orders the way good communists do, good useful idiots do. We're thinking for ourselves. In the early 90s, a brother of mine, my younger brother, he told me, man, do you listen to Rush Limbaugh? And I was like, nah, I don't listen to that. He goes, hey man, give it a shot, because you'll find out he thinks like us. Those were his words. He thinks like we do. So I gave it a shot. Of course, because of my hours, I couldn't listen to Rush all the way through. With the internet now I can. I can pick up where I left off, what I missed. But that is just the point. Rush Limbaugh, Sean Hannity, Michael Savage, they don't tell us how to think. They don't tell us things where we just parrot what they say. They listen to their callers. A lot of the callers have very good ideas, and they let them know, holy cow, because that's something they didn't think of. And then there's a lot of things they say that I and or a large or a percentage of their listeners have not thought of. So I mean, you know, that's what it's really all about, you know. You know, and I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but about being agnostic. Dr. Michael Savage, he's the one who made it clear to me, and this goes to the way what I mean, how they'll say things that just click. It makes sense. He said that whether the conservatives like it or not, conservatism changes just like everything else. What once used to be conservatives aren't anymore as a whole. There are atheists, there are people who are gay, there are agnostics, you know. So, you know, I mean, you don't have to be a Republican to be a conservative. You could be a Democrat. A lot of Democrats are more conservative than they even would believe. People just have to be honest with themselves. Look in the mirror. Look at what you are. If you're a useful idiot, you can change that. Start thinking for yourself, for those of you who might come across this walk away. But get some pride, man. Get some true patriotism. Because if you think you're a patriot and you're going along with these commies, you ain't got a chance. So, with that, I thank the walkaway movement. I've been a soldier for a good many years, and here's to all the true patriots. Let's stick together, and we're winning this thing, whether they like it or not.